Student, in this lecture you will learn about applied research. Applied research is a type of research design that seeks to solve specific problems or provide innovative solutions to issues affecting individual, group, or society. It is often referred to as a scientific method of inquiry or contractual research because it involves the practical application of scientific method to everyday problems. When conducting applied research, the researcher takes extra care to identify a problem, develop a research hypothesis, and go ahead to test these hypotheses via an experiment. In many cases, this research approach employs empirical method in order to solve practical problem. There are three types of applied research. These are evaluation research, research and development, and action research. Now, I will discuss these three types one by one. So first, evaluation research is a type of applied research that analyzes existing information about a research subject to arrive at objective research outcome or reach or informed decision. This type of applied research is mostly applied in business context. For example, an organization may adopt evaluation research to determine how to cut down overhead costs. Second type is research and development is a type of applied research that is focused on developing new products and services based on the needs of target market. It focuses on gathering information about marketing needs and finding ways to improve on existing product or create new product that satisfy the identified need. And the third type of is action research. Action research is a type of applied research that is set to providing practical solution to specific business problem by pointing the business in right direction. Typically, action research is a process of reflective inquiry that is limited to specific context and situation in nature. Now, I am going to discuss a few examples of applied research. Applied research is relevant in different fields of study, especially science and social science related fields. Examples of applied research can be seen in medicine, education, and business. Now, I would like to share applied research example in business. Applied research is used in business to build knowledge and develop product solutions. It is enable organization to identify the peculiar need of target market, and this would help them to create different business strategies that would allow them to satisfy these needs. In addition, conducting contractual research would help business owners to get insightful feedback on product gap that may have otherwise been ignored. This is a great way to first-hand information on target market reaction which can inform brand decision. Applied research also helps employers of labor to identify and address the productivity need of their workforce. For instance, organizations may carry out applied research in order to measure the effectiveness of recruitment practice of its organizational structure. Examples of business applied research are: number one, applied research to improve organization hiring process. Number two, applied research to improve workplace efficiency and organization policy. Applied research to bridge skill gap in the workplace. Now, I want to discuss about applied research example in education. In education, applied research is used to test pedagogic process in order to discover the best teaching and learning method. It is also used to test education policies before implementing and to address different issues associated with teaching paradigms and classroom dynamics for a better learning experience. Educational applied research attempts to solve a problem by gathering data from primary sources using a combination of qualitative and quantitative data collection method. This data serves as empirical evidence which is then subject to rigorous analysis and description in order to arrive at a valid conclusion. The goal of this research methodology is to determine applicability of education theories and principles by way of subjecting hypotheses to experimentation within specific setting. Applied research in education is also more ingredient as it gathers practical evidence that can inform practical solution to the problem. Now, I want to discuss 4 characteristics of applied research in education. Number 1, it clearly highlights generalization and hypotheses that inform the reading finding. Number 2, it relies on empirical evidence. Number 3, it is set at providing solution to defined problem. And number 4, it requires accurate observation and description. For parents, I would like to share some example of applied research in education. Number 1 example, study into the way to improve teacher learning class engagement. Number 2, study in the way to improve school readiness for its student. And number 3, study to build student interest in mathematics, science and other subjects. Applied research example in science. In itself, applied research is a scientific method of investigation because it applies existing scientific knowledge to practical situation. It is useful in different fields including thermodynamics, physics, material science and microbiology. Now, I would like to share the 2 examples of this science applied research. Applied research to improve agriculture crop production. Number 2, applied research to treat a cure of specific disease. And last, I will apply research method. And as you know, there are 2 popular methods, qualitative and quantitative data collection method, which are used in applied research to gather empirical evidence that is further subject to experimentation in order to arrive at a valid research outcome. These data are in applied research. Number 1, interview. In an applied method of data collection that involves having a one-on-one interaction or discussion with the research subject in order to gather relevant information that can serve as empirical data. It can be conducted with the use of audio recorder, digital camera or camera doors. Even though it is a time-consuming and expensive interview, allow the researcher to gather the most relevant data which give him or her in-depth knowledge about the research subject. An interview may be structured, semi-structured, unstructured, depending on the research process. A questionnaire is an instrument that is typically used for quantitative data gathering. It outlines a series of questions related to research context and requires the research subject to choose or provide response that reflect their knowledge and experimentation. There are different types of questions that can be contained in questionnaire, including rating scale questionnaire, closed and open-ended question, and fixed alternative question. You can also create an administrator your applied research survey data platform. So, this is the brief introduction of the applied research. In this lecture, I define the applied research, and I also share the example and method of the applied research. I hope that you have learned them and you will apply it in daily life. Thank you very much.